today I want to try something a little bit different using stencils and resin and some Vaseline. I'm hoping that these will create a relief. Now, I've got my Vaseline and it's fairly warm, so it's soft, because I think that's going to be important. And I've got my stencil, and these are just normal stencils here. I need to put something under this. No, I'll try it like this. So what I'm going to do is put the Vaseline on here like that. And what I'm hoping will happen is that this will create a relief once the resin is cured, because I should be able to then wash out, but we will see. Also, it will give it a thicker finish. I don't know if anyone's tried this before. If you have and you've done it a different way, then let me know in the comments below. I'd really love to know. I love experiments with resin, as you know. A lot more people and YouTubers now have started to do experiments with resin, which is always a great thing. As long as we're safe all the time, then having more people do it is always a good thing, because then we learn more. Right, I'm hoping that has come out neat, but we won't know until we lift off this. So let's have a look. Perfect. But it does need to be neat. Oh yeah, that's come out quite neat, look. I think that's come out quite neat. So what I'm going to do is do the same for this one, and then what I'm going to do before anything else is I'm going to pop these into the fridge to allow that Vaseline to firm up a little bit more than it is. Because I think once it's firmed up, it is more likely, a bit like pastry I suppose, to keep its shape when the resin goes on it. Now, I'm not going to put this in a resin curing machine or anything like that, because I don't want the heat of that to cause this Vaseline to go really soft and not maintain its shape. That was quite easy, this one, to do. Because once you've got some Vaseline on it, it kind of sticks to the mould anyway. And if you wet your mould a little bit first, then that'll help it to stick so you can move it around. I want to make sure I've got, again, a little bit of texture everywhere, and I've not taken it too thin in any places. Oh, I hope this works. I think you're going to be able to make some really pretty things with this. Stencils are so cheap to buy, but also if you've got a Cricut or something similar, you can make your own really easily. Big thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now. If you'd like to benefit from all the extra members videos, advice from me on all sorts of crafting and YouTubing and business, and benefit from all the other experts that are in that group, there is a lot, believe me, then the link to join is in the description below. And a quick thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month as well. Thank you. Without you people, it would be so much more difficult to keep this business going and making these videos. Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh, I like that. So I'm going to pop that in the fridge, both of them, for about an hour to firm that up. Well, I'm going to mix up my resin while that's still in the fridge. And I'm using here today the T-Expert Crystal Clear. And the reason I'm using that, it's a great resin and you can get it at a great price, especially if you're buying a gallon. And I'm using my large bowl here, silicone bowl, that comes with my resin kit. And so much more comes with it as well, so it's well worth checking it out, and I've listed it in the description below. You also get this mat that says T-Expert and Steve McDonald on it. So I'm going to give that a mix and then add my colour to it. I'm going to use some mica powder and some of the Let's Resin pigments. I am yet to find a company whose pigments are as good as the Let's Resin ones. Their alcohol inks, I love their translucent pigments, and also their opaque pigments, as well as all their other stuff. It's second to none, honestly. So I've got my resin mixed up now, and I've taken these out the fridge, and that has definitely helped make those go a little bit more solid. Now all I'm going to do is pour this in as slowly and gently as possible and let that make its way over that quite firm now Vaseline. Now I'm not going to do any squidgy widgy on this because I don't want to disrupt the seal that Vaseline has got on there. So all I'm going to do is go around and tap these edges, and hopefully if there's any trapped bubbles, that should allow them to come up. So a little bit of tappy wappy going all the way around rather than giving it some squidgy widgy. I'll burn the bubbles off with a long neck lighter. Remember, never a torch. And we will leave this to cure up now and see if that's worked. And if it's worked, then we can put some relief in there. I hope it's worked. Well, these are all nice and cured now. I left them overnight, so I'm a bit nervous about taking these out. Now, I did get some bubbles in here, but I'm not too worried about that because if this works, then next time I will give it a really big squidgy widgy. So it's all about whether it's going to work or not. Oh, it definitely has. I don't know if you can see that, but it's definitely worked. Now, I quite like it like that. Let's see if it's worked on this one. And it has given some great indentations as well. It has worked on that one as well. So it's definitely going to work. I have got no doubts about that. So next time I can be a little bit more rougher with this. Now, I do need to clean out that petroleum jelly or Vaseline because it's exactly the same thing. So I'm going to break that down with some dish soap. So I don't want to put too much on there, just a little dot on there like that and rub that in. And I'm sure that is going to break that down lovely. Leave that on there for a few minutes and then go over it with a baby wipe or rinse it under the tap. I won't rinse it under hot water because I don't want to soften the resin at this stage because it's only been cured for 24 hours. Definitely see that that has started to come out. You could use a little brush on it, I suppose, but I don't have one. So now all I'm going to use is a baby wipe to get rid of that. Make sure it's fully cleaned out because I don't want that left in there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of fresh clean water on there now as well, like that. Leave that a few minutes and then wipe them nice and dry. Well, I definitely think they've come out really well and it was without a doubt the right thing to do, put them in the fridge so that the Vaseline firmed up before using it. I like that relief in there without anything in it. It is, I think it's just beautiful and it gives a lovely texture. This one, what I'm going to do is see if I can fill it with UV resin and see how that looks. That in itself is still quite pretty, but I think we could get it to really show. I'm going to use my coloured UV resins for this. Now these nozzles might be a little bit large for what I want to do, but I'm going to try. Let's have a look. So obviously we want the petals around the outside to be yellow. And these are the UV coloured resins by J Diction. I absolutely love them. Put a little bit in there, going all the way around, and let it find its own level. Some of these are a little bit deeper than others, but actually that's okay. And I'm taking the tip of a micro brush. I will link them in the description below so you can get hold of them. They're really, really cheap. As you know, I use them all the time for so many different things. I'm just pushing that around. It hits all those edges. Oh, I really like that. And then I think I'm going to do the edge of the flower green. This might be a bit too thick, so I may put that in using the micro brush. So put a bit here, like that, on my mat. Get my micro brush and do that. Can you imagine how pretty this would look if I'd done a clear casting? I think I'm going to put blue in the middle bit. I don't know if this is a real colour of a flower, but I don't really care. Because I likes it. So that's all in there. All I need to do is cure that up for 3 minutes. I've got my nice big lamp on there and I'm going to cure that up for 3 minutes. Now, I would like to leave that like that, and if I was going to sell it, I probably would leave it like that, but I'm not going to sell this one because it's got 2 holes in. I'll probably use it myself. So I'm going to try something different with that in a second. So with this one, I've got a bit of green acrylic paint and a bit of white, and all I'm doing is filling these in, and I will neaten these up a little bit once they've dried off. And it's so easy to do to get a nice neat finish on these. I mean, I preferred it without anything in it at all, but I think it's nice to practice and it's nice to try something different and see how it comes out. And this acrylic paint will stay in here nicely because it's indented. And we've got the texture from the Vaseline as well that gave it, so it has given it a really nice texture. Well, I've added my paint in and I've given it a little clean up around some of the edges just using my micro brush and tidying it up. But I've not done a massive tidy up on it because I want to get this project done and see if it works. Now I'm going to be using the low viscosity out of my UV resin trio. So it comes with a low, medium and a high viscosity for different projects. And I'm going to pop that in there, in all of the leaves, and move it around in exactly the same way as I did for the previous one, and then cure that up and then I'll show you what they both look like. I am in absolute love with this technique. I think there's a lot more you could do with this as well. I think you could make some nice cameo looking things and make it look like it's been etched. Can't wait to play around with it more. Well, that's those two really finished now, and I love how they've come out. I I think this looks really pretty. I liked it before I put the ink in as well, but I wanted to put the ink and the paint in. The one with the coloured UV resin has come out beautiful too. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know what you think. I'm going to be playing around with this a lot more. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you check out the video that's coming up next. It's another experiment that I think you'll love if you're a crafter. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.